Damon and Simone are avoiding each other. Thea has a very close call with an asshole. And Auntie Amara is just going to call it quits. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. In this video, we are breaking down episode 9 from season 1. Whew, and I'm very excited to do so. But before we do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Join the tribe. I promise you're going to love it here. We have amazing conversations about All-American Homecoming as well as All-American. We really just deep dive into the All-American universe, answering tons of questions, discussing random thoughts and theories, as well as breaking down each episode and character journeys. If you are obsessed with All-American Homecoming, then this is the place that you're going to want to be. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on anything. Also, be sure to follow your good sis on your favorite social media site, whether that's Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. You can find me at ericavane.com on all of them. And with the follow on social, you can get me live tweeting episodes, sharing little additional tidbits, going live with some of the stars from some of these series, and more. So you do not want to miss out on the additional content there as well. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this episode number 9. So this episode is technically the fallout episode, but we don't get to see any fallout. Last episode, we saw Damon and Simone come very, very close to crossing the line, but just in the nick of time, Simone pulls back, creates a little bit of distance, calls in Jordan, who is on the next thing smoking, into town to visit his girl. And we love it. We love the energy that Jordan came to town with. We love that Jordan is in a much more secure place. He's not just, jumping off the deep end in his jealousy bag as we have seen him in previous episodes, as we saw crossovers happen between All-American and All-American Homecoming. This Jordan is given very much so more mature, more settled in my relationship, but nonetheless still very much so in love with Simone. Now, if you missed it, I went live last night, as I go live every Monday night, to break down what happened in the All-American universe. However, when I went live last night, I hadn't gotten a chance to watch the entire episodes of both All-American and All-American Homecoming. So I'm so excited to be doing these breakdowns because you're really going to get all of my full thoughts. Last night, I really was just able to let all of y'all speak. And some people was like, well, is Jordan checked out of this relationship? Not from what I could tell. If anything, it's giving back to them being in their married bag. It's getting back to, or at least from Jordan's point of view, back to him being very understanding, them talking about their feelings and talking about potential issues and just really communicating well. Now, Simone is getting her little bouts of jealousy in this episode when he thinks about how close Jordan and Layla are getting. You can definitely see the parallels starting to peak up. Now, we could see, as watching both of the shows separately, as an audience member, the parallels were there from the very beginning. But now Simone is starting to see the parallels between Jordan's relationship with Layla and her relationship with Damon. Now, what was interesting to me in watching the episode is that while we saw Simone mention Damon didn't mention Simone in this whole episode, like at all. And I was like, okay, we went from the last weekend that Jordan was in town and they didn't get to see each other. They talked about how they missed each other and they depend on each other. And now they have an almost run-in, almost kiss. They get very, very close. They connect on a deep emotional level tied to, Damon and his struggles within his parents' situation, as well as the lack of information around his adoption. And this time it's no spiraling because of that. And it's interesting to me. Part of it is like Damon definitely had his hands full in this episode, whether it was saving Thea from that dirty ass Calvin or, standing up to Lando, who got a chip on his shoulder because he feels like Damon took his spot. Damon definitely had a lot on his hands. However, I just thought it was very intriguing, and I wanted to note how he does not mention Simone at all to anybody in this episode. And Simone mentions him, but it's not necessarily in a pining after him way. So I thought that was interesting. You can definitely see that she's uncomfortable with where they were. Not necessarily, it didn't feel like she missed him. It just felt like she was still processing what happened, what position she felt like that put her in. And then I think that she spoke very beautifully to the fact of like, she took a step back because they were entering into a space that wasn't respectful of her and Jordan's relationship. Both Jordan and Simone feel very much so still in love with each other, feel very connected. I think it's beautiful to see how we see it here, because it's not something that's just like overly like passionate and emotional, but it's grounded in like we have something solid, we have like true love for one another. And I think more often than not, a lot of people get caught up in the hoopla of like the chase, or get caught up in the hoopla of like passionate declarations of emotions or displays of affection. And honestly, Simone and Jordan just felt very, very grounded in this episode. Even with Simone and her bolts or her curious moments of jealousy that started to peak up, they still felt very, very grounded. And I personally love to see it. I thought that they had just such continued beautiful chemistry. I feel like now people are starting to see what I've been speaking about with them for a very long time. Yes, they have gotten off to a rocky start. They started off very interesting, but I do believe that Simone and Jordan in their relationship has been one of the strongest relationships we've seen in the All-American universe. One of the ones who've really gone through full character, development and journey. And like there's literally stakes and grit that has been placed into their relationship. And the more I see them evolve, they're changing as people, but they're allowing each other to change. They're creating space for each other to change. And then they're trying to figure out, as the changes are happening, how does their relationship look at this stage? How does their relationship look at that stage? And personally, I think that it is admirable and I love it. Like, honestly, Jordan and Simone are my favorite couple to look at in the All-American universe, not just because I'm obsessed with them, but because of these beats that we get to see. Like, in all honesty, if Bolivia hopes to make it, I'm going to need some of these same character traits within the relationships to transfer over. Like, they have to give each other space. They have to allow for one another. And specifically, Liv has to allow for Spencer to grow, to try new things, to maybe get jealous, but then also fall back and be able to watch and listen and be the supportive partner that this person needs as they're navigating different feelings and cultivating different relationships. You have to grow and change, and your relationship should grow and change with you if y'all are doing it right and healthily. If you are not and you are being codependent, then one is going to try to hold the other back. And again, Jordan and Simone ain't giving that. So that's what I got from this episode specifically with them, and I loved it. I think that the Jordan visit was perfectly timed. The way they start the episode off with Damon letting him up, I'm just like, okay, CW, y'all want to be messy or whatever, but okay, cool. Clearly wasn't no smoke. I would love to have like at least been a fly on the wall for Damon's response of like, yeah, I just saw that dude Jordan, I let him up or whatever. Like, even if he was talking to JR, I would have loved to see if he had some type of response. But what I will say to that is like, I really do believe that Damon genuinely loves Simone, and like, aside from having romantic interest in her, he does value her as a friend, which is how he could fall back into a space of like, her man is in town, I'm gonna let him up, I'm gonna be cool, because it's more than just about whatever sexual attraction that he might have had for her. And I love that. Like, again, I have said this numerous times within my channel, speaking specifically to the series, the platonic love that we see develop with Damon and Simone is beautiful, but I more so love the conversation that's cultivated, because honestly, y'all, Damon is really giving men a chance to, or young men, a chance to look at when they are in situations like this, or maybe have been in situations like this, and be able to see it from a different perspective. Yes, like, you could go the route of just declaring your love for this girl, whatever, put her in an awkward position, knowing that she's already in a relationship and things are a little bit complicated. Or you can lean heavily into playing your role, being the best friend that you possibly can be, and allowing time to do its thing. Allowing time and space and y'all lived experiences and circumstances to craft y'all maybe to be partners later on down the line. But if not, being okay with y'all being super solid as friends and realizing how much value a woman can bring to your life aside from when she's just sleeping with you. There's so many more men who make the choice to not just stick their thing in anything and cultivate phenomenal friendships that ultimately help them become better men. And that's all I want other men to see. Like, I want more men at a mass level to really be able to recognize. I know that y'all fear the friend zone and y'all don't want to be there, yada, yada, yada. It's time for some mentality shifts, because in all actuality, when you don't care about a woman as a friend, when you don't care to invest in a woman as a person, and you only thinking about what she can do for you sexually or romantically, not every single time, but a lot of times you turn into a Calvin. You're predatory, you're coercing women, like you're just doing too damn much, and it's weirdo behavior, and we've had enough. So either get on board with treating women like humans, being able to be friends with women, and realizing that every single woman that you meet that might smile at you or be nice to you is not a woman that you're gonna stick your penis into, or keep it moving. That's it, that's all. I didn't mean to get on my soapbox with that, y'all, but that needed to be said. Okay, Auntie Amara is deciding to quit in this episode. I don't really know what's going on with Auntie Amara. She's given very much so that she's running. I do understand what she said, though, about not wanting to say someplace where she didn't feel wanted. I totally got that, but I also feel like she's bowing out so very easily, and I can't imagine the school without her. I can't imagine Simone without her. It's like, girl, if you don't work at the school, then what are you going to do? You better at least stay local so that you can, write for the paper and still impart some wisdom on these kids and give them their daggone weekly dinners, honey. Like, you can't be messing up the program like this. What you got going on? I'm still waiting for you and Coach Turner to reunite. Clearly, he about to need you because he decided that he don't want to take his damn medicine no more. Coach Turner, you're stressing me out, bro. You're stressing me out. You're doing way too good leading these dope black men to greatness and glory within their talents and their intelligence and their beautiful lives, for you to decide that you're gonna go against the program and throw your pills in the trash because you have one little run-in with your old teammate who happened to make it to the league, and both of y'all was doing steroids together, and he brings up the fact that you only stopped doing the steroids because you was on this medication for your mental health. Sir, I get it. Where's your therapist? So where's your support? Because you throwing these pills in the trash just gave me all types of anxiety, so I can only imagine what's happening in your mind right now. And now you got me pissed. I'm pissed for you. I want better for you. You're doing so amazing, and now you finna be off the rails, and I don't like that for you, or I don't like that for we, as Naya would say. Coach Turner puts together this beautiful baseball showcase that allows Damon to show just another layer to himself. Like, why? Damon Sam, step forward, please. Step closer, honey, closer. Why are you so damn bomb? Like, who gave you the right to be this fly, to be this dope, to be this amazing? Like, I really thought I had you pegged from the backdoor pilot, and I had set my sights on hating you. Like, I had set my sights on you being the villain, and you have literally turned into the hero and my favorite character within this series. And I love that for me, but I'm also still harboring my residual, this is not part of the plan, and I'm trying to resist the change. But my God, Damon shows up and shows out in this episode, from saving Thea from the doofy ass Calvin, who was the blind date that her grandmother set her up with, and he ultimately turns out to be a damn predator. There needs to be some kind of consequences for people who even attempt and don't consummate or don't go through or aren't able to complete their mission when they're trying to defile, disrespect, demean, and take advantage of women. Like, you don't need to just get an assault charge, a sexual assault charge after you do it. But when you attempt it, there needs to be some consequences as well. Because I don't understand what these men are not getting. Like, the fact that there are men out here who play this stuff like a game and try to drug and liquor up and do all these things to manipulate women into sleeping with them. Just go find a vagina that wants you. Like, never in my life have I understood how you fathom that this is okay, that this is something that you should want to seek out. The plethora of vagina on this campus at any HBCU, I promise you can find one that's open to you. Do something else. Do something else, young king, because right now it's giving young peasant. It's giving you need to catch these hands. And when Damon pulled up and he grabbed the back of his pants the way that he did, let him know that he's real and he need to go ahead and give him a reason to lay hands, I said, yeah, all of that. And honestly, Thea, I get it, baby. You didn't want to cause a scene, but I wanted Damon to beat the hell out that boy right there. I needed it in my spirit. I needed it. And I know we're supposed to be talking about violence ain't the answer and all of that, but for me, it's protect black women at all costs. He basically tried to date rape her. So he need to catch these hands. There needs to be some kind of consequences. And if he gonna be able to walk away as if nothing even happened because nothing actually wound up happening, then the least that he could get is a black eye and a busted ass lip. And that's on everybody. I said what I said. Erica, violence ain't the answer. It is here. And Damon, we was with you. You would have lumped his ass up. Nobody would have thought twice about it. Would have gave you a medal in all honesty. But anyway, back to Damon and his amazingness. He goes from saving Thea to also checking the random ass Lando who is offended because he don't get to go to Brinkston. All his family went to Brinkston, all his legacies at Brinkston, and the moment that Damon chose to come to Brinkston, his offer disappeared. Baby, let me go ahead and correct you, because it kills me how so many people just love to rewrite narratives and rewrite history. Because guess what, baby? Shaw was out regardless of if Damon came. If Damon didn't come to the school, there would be no baseball team. So you still wouldn't be able to play at Brinkston. If you really gave a damn that much about your family legacy and continuing on and going to Brinkston because all your family went to Brinkston, then give up baseball and go to Brinkston. Or decide to walk on. Like, it's the place in blame where blame don't belong for me. It's oh, Damon took my actual spot when there was no spot to take. There would be no team without Damon. That team was getting canceled. That team was annihilated. But because Damon put his damn name attached to Brinkston and this baseball program, they got 1 year to turn it around. It's off the strength of Damon. You wouldn't even be at this showcase right now if Damon didn't show up to the school. So kill all that noise. I mean, ultimately, Lando decides to, but he spends most of the episode hating on Damon and getting on my goddamn nerves in the process. And honestly, he could have got slapped. Like, maybe not punched, but he could have got slapped because it was the clenching of the jaw and the ridiculous black boy hate for me. It made absolutely no sense, sir. But again, this episode just did wonders for, well, not that his character was in a bad place to begin with. This episode did wonders in reference to pushing Damon even more into the hero's spotlight, because he is able to confront this conflict with Lando, address it. He has a chance to fight, which he probably would have done when we first met him, but he's much better now. He's much calmer. He's much more grounded. He has a little bit more perspective, and he's able to really diffuse the situation. And again, ultimately, Lando realizes that Damon is not his actual enemy, that they all are there to make sure that they all look good and all that jazz. So again, shout out to Mr. Damon Sims, who is quickly becoming my favorite person. Hey boo, hey. Not me not understanding the Peyton Alex Smith obsession and just adoration, because y'all, when he was first announced to join the series, y'all blew me up like Peyton legacies, oh my god. And I was just sitting there like, okay, he just another little tall brown skinned Negro, okay. But I get it. Sometimes, your good sis is smart. Your good sis is a little wise at times, but then sometimes she's slow on the upkeep. And I was slow to the party, but I'm here now. I'm excited. I'm here now. I'm here on the camp now. Shout out to Antonio. And I'm here with the Peyton Alex Smith obsession. We're here. We've arrived. It's all good. I'm excited. Show me around. We didn't get much from Keisha in this episode, except for really supporting in a lot of the episode in reference to the conversation around Auntie Amara and her stepping down. And then at the end, she has a pretty strong scene with Simone, as Simone is reflecting on her jealousy of Jordan and Layla and what might be happening or is not happening with them. And as Keisha does, she provides additional wisdom and concrete, tangible, like, girl, what is you thinking? Because it's giving you projecting your guilt onto Jordan when he's not even doing anything. Just like you said, you are not doing anything. Correct. Listen, they both aren't doing anything. They both have not crossed lines, but I get it. It's a little confusing. It's a little confuddling, and it definitely looks like it's more than it is from the outside looking in. I'm gonna go ahead and let Keisha live, because she did need to say that to Simone. Like, Simone needed to hear, like, girl, calm it down. But I do love that Simone was very honest of, like, I know it's a double standard. I can see myself in this way. And I think that says volumes. Like, when I'm speaking about, you know, different characters and if they're struggling with insecurity or if they're making a mistake, for me, it's never the mistake or the insecurity or the doubt or the fear or the whatever. It's their lack of visibility for themselves within it. Like, I just would love for people to see themselves where they are. And if you are jealous, register like, yo, I'm feeling jealous right now. And then starting to unpack, like, why do I feel jealous? What is triggering me in this way? Or I feel insecure right now. Like, I would love to watch Olivia unpack more of what she has going on over in All American. Not that I want her to completely like never make mistakes or never feel insecure, because that's unrealistic. Like, all of us go through that. But when I'm speaking about it, I particularly want characters to just be able to see themselves a bit better and address it and get to the starting to process how they feel and why they think in the way that they're thinking, especially if they're on a toxic, you know, thought cycle. And Simone gave me that. So I know a lot of y'all struggle with Simone, but I didn't. She was processing her feelings. She was talking to her friends. Like, again, 10 out of 10 for me. 10 out of 10. Now, she doesn't tell Jordan about the almost kiss in the dance, but that also didn't feel like it was like purposefully neglected. Like, it didn't feel like she was actually trying to hide anything. And I'm not too sure if the kiss or the almost kiss is going to actually come up again. It feels very much so like, you know, she communicated the full sentiment of what was going on. While she didn't get down to the nitty gritty with all the details, again, it doesn't feel like to me she's being malicious or divisive or disrespectful of her relationship or actually trying to hide anything. Like, I feel like she came to him hat in hand and really communicated the true sentiment behind all that was going on. So I don't struggle with Simone. I know some of y'all did. Y'all voiced your opinions last night. Y'all wanted her to tell every single bit, itty bitty detail. Cool. Maybe it'll come out when, you know, he also has to reveal how he's holding Layla and doing all types of stuff to calm her down, and whatever may or may not happen on this trip to go see Carrie in San Diego. I cannot with that, y'all, but we're gonna talk about that on All American. Y'all better make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out when I talk about All American, child, because some of these plot points go in between both shows, and you're only gonna get my breakdown of Carrie and what that whole thing entails as Jordan pertains to it as well when I talk about All American Homecoming. Okay. Now, I think I want to end this breakdown off talking about Thea and her mindset, because going into episode 10, we can see that she's in a very distraught place. She's struggling with what just recently happened to her and trying to fully process it. What I will tell you, like, Damon is definitely one of my favorite characters right now. And I love Simone. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really love Simone. She's still one of my favorite characters too. But Damon and Thea, for me, whether together or apart, like, honestly, stronger apart, like, I feel just so very connected to them. Thea, and just watching her unravel, and as we peel back the onion into her vulnerability and like seeing her navigate this space almost like a fish out of water when it comes to like social interactions and dating and romance, and just how naked and vulnerable she is, and to see her put in a position where she's compromised in this way, or somebody tries to compromise her in this way, and now watching the fallout of like, what does she do with this information and she doesn't know. It's so powerful to see, like, just in the little bits that we got in the preview, which I do have a preview video coming breaking down the trailer for next week's episode, but I just want to touch on it here. Like, I am very excited to see how they tell this story, but so disheartening that she's experiencing this as a character. But it's so relatable. It's so relatable. All right, y'all, that is my full breakdown for episode number 9, season 1 of All American Homecoming. CW, can we talk real quick? Because where's the renewal at? Where's the green light for season 2 at? We're in the thick of it. We only got 4 episodes left, and y'all have yet to green light season 2. And me and my homegirls want to know what's up. Do we got to pull up? Like what it is and what it ain't? Because All American Homecoming is giving us too much amazing story, beautiful visuals, grounded in HBCU and Black excellence, just giving on all fronts. And y'all have yet to pull the trigger and make an announcement about it being greenlit for season 2. And we got a problem. A whole problem. I'm just saying. Yeah. Talk amongst yourself. We're gonna need that green light by next week. All right, y'all. Jump down in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts on the episode were. I cannot wait to further this discussion with y'all. Shout out to everybody who joined me on my lives. If you missed it, please join me every Monday night as I go live to break down All American Homecoming, the All American Universe after show. Follow me on your favorite social media site so that you don't miss out on anything. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.